Well, ladies and gentlemen, pregnant men are the talk of the town, and I, for one, couldn't be more excited. Ooh yeah. Pregnant men do exist, and they are real men, right? And if you dare question it, guess what? You're on the wrong side of history. You bigot! You must be re-educated and change your opinion. You fascist! And thankfully, we have TikTok now to educate us about the real science, about real men pushing real babies out of their real manly holes. And in today's video, ladies and gents, we're going to look at what life is like for a man who is up the duff. These men are known as seahorse parents because male seahorses give birth. Well, the female seahorses lay eggs and then they stick them somewhere on a male seahorse and everyone spurts sperm somewhere. It's a whole process. They're actually really gross creatures. Anyway, seahorse parents are now a thing, which I learned from this gorgeous article from The Guardian. Difference is beautiful. Pregnant trans men go for a swim in pictures. Now this is what I call not a challenging wank. Ladies and gentlemen, to TikTok we go.
Danny, why would you transition genders only to get pregnant and have a baby?
Welcome to the world of Danny, the pregnant dad, or Danny the trans dad, as he's known. Danny actually comes across as a very masculine human being, except for the fact that he has a vagina and pushed a baby out of it. Other than that, very masculine indeed.
This is one of the most commonly asked questions I receive.
There is something confronting about the image of a hairy man with a child inside of them. It's usually the other way around, and they usually work for the church.
But the desire to have children doesn't discriminate based on your gender. When I was living in the world as female, I felt uncomfortable and unhappy.
I'm not gonna lie, he just looks like a fat dude. Sorry, mate. Or at least a dude who has 10 beers a night. And to Danny's point, I quote, the desire to have children doesn't discriminate based on your gender. Now, I'm not quite sure how to take that statement because I had a desire to have children and I had my little boy Atticus. But I didn't have a desire to have him. I had a desire to get my wife pregnant. And then she have him. Did I have a desire for a tiny child to grow inside of me and then I push that tiny child out of my dick? No. And Addie, if you're watching this in the future, that's how you were born. You poor thing.
It wasn't until I transitioned genders that I finally became home in my body.
Danny feels home in his body, and that's great. But, spoiler alert, pregnant men aren't real. Sorry.
And what it's taught me is that I'm no more a woman today than I was before I had my baby. Having a uterus and using that uterus to carry a child doesn't make me a woman.
I'm sorry, Danny. I'm really sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but you having a uterus definitely makes you a woman. And yes, some women don't have uteruses, okay? Not all women have uteruses, but all uteruses belong to women, okay? I just find it strange that everyone in the comment section, and Danny as well, and everyone around him, they know that Danny is going to push this baby out of his vagina, but they still all agree that men can have babies. Danny, I'm not taking anything away from you. Men can't. Trans men can.
Yes, women birth babies, but so do trans men and non-binary people. We desire creating families just as others do.
And I can cop that. That's cool. That's absolutely true. You just have to say trans men. If you say trans men, then I agree. Yes, trans men can have babies because they're transgender people. Men can't. Science won't allow it because there's a dick there. And yes, it is a nice thing to say that Danny, a man, can have a baby. That's all nice, but it's not scientifically accurate whatsoever. So don't argue with people on that because you're wrong. Danny's quite prolific on TikTok. He updates people about everything that he does, and he's let everyone know about his journey. It's quite interesting.
Danny, did pregnancy and birth cause you any gender dysphoria? This is another question I'm often asked.
I imagine it would because you're pushing a baby out of your vagina and you think you're a man. There would be moments where you go, hang on, what's all this?
And the truth is, no, not really. Now you see, some of you might be thinking that just confirms that I am a woman and confused, but it's actually quite the opposite. Once I was able to learn and internalize that gender is a construct and that our bodies don't equal our gender identities.
Ah, Danny, come on, big fella. Sex is biological, right? gender's how you feel. That's everyone's point, yeah? Well, the reason people have issues with that is because, well, firstly, people in the LGB community sometimes just go, I'm 1,000 different genders. I'm a different gender in the morning. I'm a different gender in the afternoon. What gender are you? Doesn't matter. It's all about me. So that throws people off. But someone's sex and their gender has been used interchangeably for years. So if you immediately expect people to go, yes, I agree with the new definition that you have created, then people are going to have issues with it. And that's just what it comes down to. You're changing the language. As for your identity, Danny, can I ask a question? Well, I'm going to. It's my video, fuck yeah. Do you, when you meet someone, just a random person on the street, you bump into them there with your big belly, do you care if they identify as a fan of a particular sports team? Like, is that what you want to initially know about that person? No, of course not. So why the fuck would you think that anyone gives a shit about what gender anyone identifies as? No one cares. No one. Don't take this video the wrong way. I wish Danny and his baby all the best. I just think we should stop lying and be scientifically accurate when we're talking about biology. I've heard these type of arguments in real life before. A well-known Australian influencer that I know, she said to me that when I was talking about pregnant men and men can't get pregnant, she said to me, and I quote, "The science is changing." End quote. No, it's not. This is what happens when you join this woke cult. You are infected with a mind virus. This parasitic worm just drills into your fucking head and makes you say insane shit. Anyway, moving on.
When I was pregnant, I had to train every single person that I came into contact with.
He looks like every plumber I have ever met ever. But this is important and why I refer to transgender people as what they identify as. Not only is it nice and it's polite, it's also, in this case, pretty accurate, right? He looks like a dude. So it'd be a bit weird if I called him a she, except when she has a baby, all right? Then we're sort of mixing things up there.
Every midwife, my obstetrician, the sonographers, the people at the desk, every time I rang up with a query about something, I'd have to explain that no, it actually is me that's pregnant.
Yeah, of course you have to. You didn't think people were going to automatically expect that you were the pregnant one? Dude.
I'm a pregnant trans man and I'm 22 weeks pregnant. This is what my stomach is looking like.
As long as you say trans man, then it's absolutely cool. It's fine, no worries. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with me or disagree with me in the comment section. And do you think that it's important to be nice, or should we always be accurate in the way we speak? I think sometimes it's important just to mix it up a little bit and be polite to people, particularly in real life. Okay, it's okay to criticize people on TikTok and shit because they're putting that shit out there into the internet ether. But I think in real life, we would all try and be polite, right?
This is a pregnant man.
No, it's not a pregnant man. You goose.
They are female to male. When he went to the hospital and had his child, he was upset because many of the hospital staff was referring to him as the mother.
Probably because women have babies. Go on.
Some of you may say what's the problem with that? He is biologically the mother.
Correct. I would say that.
And while that is true, here's why it's disrespectful. He goes by male pronouns and is a male. Yes, he did just have a child, which is something that traditionally a mother does.
I take issue with your air quotes around mother there. I really do. Not to mention your use of the word traditionally.
Which is something that traditionally a mother does.
It is not a tradition in the same way that eating with your mouth is not a tradition. It is how it is done. But yeah, the mother in air quotes, what the fuck are you doing there? Like, what is that?
But he is a man. He is the father.
He identifies as a man. He believes he is a man. That makes him a trans man.
When you're referring to him and you're talking straight to him, why would you give him mother?
Because he pushed a baby out of her vagina. Go on.
Knowing that that's traditionally a woman when he's identifying as a man. Your mind should automatically say father.
Once again, we're talking about science and medicine here, so you have to be accurate. This isn't a psychologist's office. This is pregnancy we're talking about. And all of these trans dudes that are saying that they're pregnant men, they know they're women. They do. Like, they know, all right? So they fucking know, and I don't know why they expect everyone else to try and save them on it. Like, just accept it and move on. how beautiful. Another Pride Month miracle. I say give them another month. They need another month. But remember, these are all real human beings and they are valid and they are important and that, well, they're not important. All right, no one's important. Get over yourselves. No one. But, you know, they matter. They do matter. They have done nothing wrong and it is important for us to be nice in public. We can think about whatever we want to think about to ourselves, but we be nice and we say, yeah, man, congrats, good work. But when they reply and they argue and they say, I'm a man and I can have a baby, then you go, no, idiot. No, you're not. Male vaginas aren't a thing. And also, I have some questions. Is it safe to take testosterone replacement therapy when you are having a baby? Is it safe to be pumping yourself full of exogenous hormones whilst you're growing a fetus inside of you? I would assume that that's not great. I mean, it obviously would affect your estrogen levels and your progesterone levels, the pregnancy hormone, surely. According to the UK's NHS, it's possible to get pregnant if you're taking testosterone, but it's not recommended. So how many of these people were taking testosterone whilst they got pregnant? That's interesting. This may affect the baby during pregnancy. Things like birth weight, amongst other complications, are the fear here. So, here is the wrap up of this video. Here are the cliff notes. Ladies and gentlemen, can men get pregnant? No. Can trans men? Yes. Why? Because when you remove the politeness of the world, they are women. And should we be polite? Sure. Should doctors? No. And I worry when doctors have to be polite, like they're forced into being polite and nice all the time, because things like this happen. A doctor did a hysterectomy on a trans woman, removing the uterus and ovaries. Turns out she was pregnant. They didn't do a pregnancy test, which is usually done. Maybe this was done because the doctor was trying to be nice and polite. That's fucked up. Was this done because they identified as a man and there's no way that a male could be pregnant? Fuck, I don't know. It's full on. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, men can't get pregnant, trans men can. Good work, everybody. Push those babies out of your dicks and have a great day. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Toodaloo. Blah, blah, blah.